Hello, Lesley.
Hello, Lesley.
We are back with another episode of Vegans and Vegetarians.
We are your hosts.
Luce, Taylor.
And Toria Barkby.
Together we make Lesley Bean.
Oh, yes. She was a bit shy on the last couple of episodes. That's because we're in studio and it's a bit silly putting an accent on in front of sound man.
Lesley Bean makes her reappearance.
She's made a resurgence. She's been quiet on the pod recently, but she's never quiet in here. There's a Lesley Bean in all of us.
There is indeed.
Oh, yes. So this episode makes a nice change because we're not kicking it off with apologies for having gone AWOL for a couple of weeks. We are back, again reiterating, not in our living room, although could be with our armchairs.
One day.
For intellectual debate. So Luce, what have you been up to this week?
I don't know where to begin. Once again, I feel as if there have been a lot of big changes, a lot of updates over the last week. I teased a little bit on my Instagram stories the other day, but I am planning to move out of my flat in the very near future, which is something that's only really come about in the last couple of weeks, although I think it had been grating on me for a while. I know that we certainly had conversations where I've kind of expressed a bit of, I suppose, discomfort with my current living situation. And it was only when we were lying in bed one night, a few weeks ago, and I think I was just talking about how I was feeling a little bit stressed out, a little bit overwhelmed, and all of a sudden, the floodgates opened, and it was I just came to a lot of realizations about my current situation. So I suppose to give a little bit of background there, I have lived in the same flat for the last 5 years now. It'll be 5 years in November. So yeah, a little under 5 years. I moved into that flat kind of in the midst of lockdown. So it was I think it was the end of 2020. And I was in a very different situation at the time to the one I'm in now. And do you know what I mean? In some ways I've outgrown the flat, but there are also a lot of things that have been happening around me over the last few years that have made me realise the flat's really not a safe place to live.
Just a couple.
And I think I'd already come to this realisation, and then last weekend we were at yours over the weekend, so we popped back to the flat a couple of times just to check on Kiwi, just to feed her, make sure she was all good.
There's been no wild house parties.
Yeah,
she hadn't had her friends round.
she's been behaving. She's been on her best behaviour. But we bumped into one of my neighbours in the stairwell, or in the foyer, when we were waiting to get the lift. And she had informed us that literally a couple nights before, while we'd been away at yours, there was literally someone, a woman that was on some kind of substances that just walked into her flat and was standing in the hallway. And that's not even the first instance that something like that has happened, because thankfully we do have camera controlled entry to the building now, which hasn't always been the case. But there have been a number of times where the locking system on the door hasn't worked, and people have just been wandering in off the streets. So there were a couple times last year someone literally pulled my letterbox off, which was quite terrifying because the man started shouting through my letterbox. I had to shout back and tell him he got the wrong flat. My opposite neighbour, her mum came out and chased the guy away, but he literally pulled the letterbox off
those Amazon delivery drivers are getting wild.
Tell me about it. There was another man that turned up at my door when I was literally I'd just climbed into bed, pajamas on and everything. He knocked on my door. I opened the door. It turned out he got the wrong flat, but he was steaming drunk. I could smell the alcohol off his breath, and I'm just standing there at my door go away, please.
Got the wrong flat.
But yeah, there's often people hanging out in the stairwell as well. My neighbour was talking about how there had been syringes and bags of white powder, and she's got a wee 6-year-old. And yeah, she's now having to kind of leave the building with her keys between her knuckles, and I'm yeah, that's not for me anymore.
Yep. That's enough of that. I mean, I must admit, when I heard that, because obviously we'd arrived back at the flat together, and I don't even think we'd made it up the stairs when we bumped into her at the very, very front door. And as your partner, hearing that like it didn't make for easy listening.
So I was saying to you yesterday, but I feel as if I am kind of like desensitized to a lot of it now. Like it was a bit of a culture shock when I first moved into that flat because like it's like completely different to like where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful that I'm in a position where my parents have been like, yeah, that's fine, you can move back home for a wee while, save up some money, and then like hopefully get yourself into a position where you can live in like a bit of a safer area. And I suppose that's where you come in.
Mm-hmm. That's where I come in.
Because we are now planning to hopefully get a little flat together next year.
Spoiler alert, it is not the podcast studio. Surprise, this is it. Do you like her new flat?
So yeah, there's a lot of big changes happening at the moment, but I would say that's probably like the biggest one.
Yeah.
For me, not to mention the fucking seagulls. Like, why are seagulls in the city centre a thing? Like, I thought
because they love chips.
But I'm literally like kept awake every night and woken up every morning by these squawking.
Not to mention the state the windows in.
My bedroom windows are all covered in shit.
I think they've taken their revenge on you because you shut the curtains on them and like, we'll show them.
One of them, like, I swear, one of them literally tried to threaten Kiwi the other day when she was like sitting at the window as well.
Right, now it's time to go if Kiwi's getting threats.
Because it like swooped down and it came up right close to the window and then like swooped back round again. And I'm like, what the actual fuck's going on, by the way?
It was like last night, we seen an owl last night and my sister's dog was in and my mum was like, that owl's going to pick Teddy up, and we were like, surely not. They're like, what if the seagulls are capable of picking up?
They probably are. I mean,
oh God,
they kill pigeons, so there's like dead pigeons all over the fucking ground of the Wineford.
Is that the seagulls?
I will be.
Jesus Christ.
They peck the pigeons to death.
Remember that time that I was viciously attacked outside Sainsbury's by one of them? Remember that day?
Your M&S sandwich.
I'd got a lovely M&S sandwich. It was the day, what had happened? Something had happened and I was treating myself. Had I gone to physio for the first time, the new physio maybe?
Possibly.
Whatever had happened, I thought I deserved an M&S sandwich anyway. Maybe it was just because. And I was all proud of myself, and the bit where the M&S is, there's also like an Adidas outlet, a Nike outlet, a Sainsbury's, and I thought, right, I'll walk around the horseshoe and I'll go into all the shops. I think I was going to Sainsbury's for something as well, say it was yogurt. And when I got to the end of the horseshoe, I was just aware that this seagull was just always ever behind me. It was just like hopping along pavement. And I turned around and it was looking at me. And we kind of eyeballed each other, and I just had a feeling, I was like, I'm going to turn my back and it's going to pounce. And sure enough, see the minute I turned my head back around, you could just hear the wings. And I just knew, and it was like, it blotted out the sun, and I was like, so it took the sandwich right out of my hand.
Wee dick, man.
And I'm like, that's an M&S sandwich, that wasn't cheap.
Sandwich.
Sandwich.
I was taking a piss out of Toria. Was it this morning or last night?
It was this morning when
this
I said
morning, because you say sandwich. I'm like, where's the G in sandwich?
Just the same as I say lunch.
Lunch.
I'm going to have a sandwich for lunch.
No, do you not say lunch? I say lunch.
Lunch.
Lunch. There are people that say lunch.
Lunch. I would probably say lunch as well.
Okay.
I'm going to have a medium sandwich for lunch.
Medium.
All of those things grate on you.
Medium.
Medium is the Lanarkshire in me. You can look forward to all these Lanarkshire turns of phrase as the podcast continues.
So what's new with you?
Do you know, not a lot.
No.
Not a lot. My rugby journey continues. I have been back at pre-season. It is going well. It is painless. I did have to make the admission to myself when I was speaking to my coach of the week. She's like, Toria, you're not doing your conditioning, are you? And I'm like, of course I am. I've been at rugby training. She was like, that's not what I mean. Because obviously on my plan, I have separate conditioning. I was like, I run at rugby. And she was like, no. So
what does your training plan actually look like at the moment?
So I have 2 uppers, 2 low. No, I don't. 2 uppers, 2 lowers, and 2 cardio days and a mobility focus day. But if I go to rugby training at all, that's not included in that. So I'd been taking it because I hated the idea of being on the treadmill. It just feels like a tiny painful box. Why are there railings? Why are you fenced in? Why are other people so close? I really don't like it if people get on the treadmills next to me.
Especially when there are so many other treadmills half the time.
It's like public toilets. If you're sitting in one and you're like, why is someone come in right next door?
Or someone sitting next to you on the bus or on the train.
Like personal space. And I don't know whether it's like asthma wise. I have asthma and it's very well managed. So it's not as if I can't breathe, but I feel like if someone's on the treadmill running next to me, I suddenly feel like I'm clawing for breath. It's like they're breathing the air. I'm like, whereas we had space, it would be nice. Especially if the person next to you is a bit smelly. You're like, there's no, like I'm running as hard as I can and I still can't run away from you because we're both trapped here. So I normally like to take a wee edge. I say normally as if I've been going on the treadmill often. I have been going back on it. It was easier earlier in rehab. I'd go on the little skill mill and it's like kind of like a turntable and you power it so it goes as fast as you go. The like banana shape normally.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just getting flashbacks to when I used to have to do brand standards at JD in the mornings, and like the skill mills were on the list and we never had any, so we didn't have to do them.
We've got like we don't have a sauna in ours, so we're like, tick, it's not, it's invisible. We've got one of them and it's belted, which I quite like, but this is just like, I say normal treadmill running. The first run of the week is at an incline. And I did that this week. Then at night went to rugby training in that rain, which was an experience. There wasn't an inch of me that wasn't soaking. I don't know what I was thinking. They give us little...
Did you get all messy, Lesley?
Oh, I got all messy, Lesley. Because I sent you the picture and you're like, why are you covered in grass? And I'm like, because I mean, do you know what they got everyone desensitised to that really quick because we did the warm up on our feet and then the coach was like, right down like on your stomachs, and everyone was like, no, not in the rain, not in the rain.
What the fuck?
I had to do like, you know, you do like the kind of hip openers.
Yeah.
So I had to do them. And
on
then
the wet ground.
On the wet ground. And the coaches were like, it's rugby, what do you expect?
See all those people at your rugby club and that are trying to get you to convince me to start rugby? Absolutely not.
Not selling it.
No.
And then we all went in our sauna after, no. And we're not at the club at the minute either. So we're training in what the club has bought the grounds, but it's not, it's not ready yet. So there's no toilet or changing facilities there, which for the kind of women's plus team is not ideal. So they have read and understood that though. So the coaches have fought really hard and we've now got a Portaloo. Which
is this the Raptors you're talking about?
No, this is the Bees.
All right, okay.
The Bees. We're not at East Kilbride at the minute.
Right, okay.
Although it is going to be a thing in the future, but it's just not ready yet. So in that torrential rain, we had no shelter. And when I got back to my car, I was like, I don't know how to drive home. I don't know what to do. I didn't want to take my boots were waterlogged. Like I could feel like my feet weighed a ton. And I thought, I'm just going to drive home in my pants. And they were like, Toria, you can't do that. Like, what if you get pulled over? And I'm like, I think the police will understand. I was like, I've got cream seats. No. I did in the end, like I put the only towel I'd brought with me. I don't know what I was thinking. I was horrifically underprepared. I had a wee microfiber towel for my boots. And I laid that down on the seat and I sat on that. And then I drove home in my bra, but I wouldn't lean back because I was minging. And I just sat in my car like that was... It was an experience, and I'm like, you signed up for this, Victoria. I was like, this is what this last year of rehab has brought you back to, that everything was soaking. I feel like in the winter I would have struggled because that would have been cold rain, but it was like hot rain. So it was okay.
I feel as if this humidity has just been making everything so much harder. I'm also like so much more grumpy as well when it's warm outside. I don't know if you've noticed.
The other day you woke up and I had like a couple of texts from you, and then a couple of like minutes later I got another text and it says, never mind, I'm just grumpy.
So never mind, like I'm done. I was like, I'm done being over dramatic now. You're like, you're not being over dramatic, and I was like, no, I actually am. Like I just woke up grumpy.
You're allowed to wake up grumpy.
Because I woke up and I was like, the seagulls are pissing me off. It's too warm. I feel like I've not slept. I was like, I don't want to train today. So what did I do? I sat and played The Sims 4 for a couple of hours, and then I was like, no, fuck this. I need to go to the gym.
Because I thought that was the message I got off you. It was like, that's it. I'm going to the gym.
And I did, and I actually had a really good session. So.
And you got a monster after it.
I did. Although I've been informed that the red monster isn't vegan.
Because of the beetles,
Yeah, it's like carmine.
I didn't know there were.
They get
beetles.
the red food colouring is often made from crushed beetles.
I have a lot of questions, but the first one is how do they collect them all up?
They literally like breed them just to
That really isn't vegan.
No.
I had just visions of like the people from Monster going about and going, "You'll do."
Like it is fucking wild. Like, see, the more you learn about stuff like this, it's like vitamin D as well. Like, unless it's like specifically listed, I think is it D3? It often comes from sheep's wool.
Oh,
So they extract it like from the sheep's wool. And even though obviously the sheep isn't harmed in that process because it is a byproduct, it's like, well, they're still being bred for that. So
yeah.
and the way that they shear sheep like isn't exactly with their like health and care in mind. There are sheep that end up with some like pretty nasty injuries and nicks and stuff just from.
I suppose, can you imagine going out to the barber and the barber treating you like that? Right on your back, get all the sides. You're
Honestly,
like, please don't hurt me.
Makes me very sad. But anyway, apparently no more red monster. I didn't know that. We all make mistakes.
But don't worry, because we've got the other one in today. We've got the one we reviewed last time. This is podcast juice.
Apparently it's controversial, this flavour. I really like it. I've liked it from the first sip.
Same.
It's refreshing.
See, when I knew we were coming back to the studio, I thought, good, we can go to that wee shop and get the one we had the last time, because I'd never drunk it before.
I suppose, like, speaking of like vegan stuff as well, we went to a vegan festival last weekend.
We did.
Toria's got a t-shirt on that she bought from.
It says, eat plants, strong as an ox. And on the back it says, what's it? People eat ox or meat. Well, obviously it's on the back. So ox or meat, thinking they'll become strong as an ox without realising that the ox eats grass.
Mm-hmm.
Eloquently put. And I thought, that's both gym themed and vegan themed. And the sleeves fit really well. So
the guy that sold it to you as well, like he was like, I have, because he was wearing the same t-shirt and he was like, oh, like I have cheek wearing this t-shirt compared to you. And then he did a little flex for us.
I feel like when you get this t-shirt, everyone out here that does wear it, like you have to flex, you have to prove.
But yeah, that was your tongue tied. That was your first vegan festival. How did you find it?
It was. Do you know what? I really enjoyed it. Like I think I said to you when we got in and we went to one of our first stalls, I was like, I am having the best time. And for me as well, when I went, like I wasn't crippled with like food anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew there was going to be a lot of different foods there because obviously there was like savoury stuff and sweet stuff, and we deliberately skipped breakfast so we could cram as much food in although we didn't eat that much, we ended up dead full dead quick.
We did, and I think like because that's my first time going to like a festival like that, like with a partner and like trying foods and stuff, and that's the first time that I've gone there and done that, and like we kind of agreed beforehand anyway, like that we can just get stuff and share it, so that's exactly what we did. So it was nice because it meant that we got to try more food as well, as opposed to being like, oh, I'm getting this, you're getting that, and
that's mine and that's yours, and like you can try a wee bit if you want, but we're like actively like divided everything up.
It's like sometimes I feel quite, I don't want to say guilty, right, because like I'm all about like living a balanced lifestyle, having a balanced diet, but do you know that way, like sometimes you get into a relationship and you end up just like eating shite all the time. But like I don't feel like we do that, because I feel like whenever we do have like a little like snacky night, we split things half and half. So like if that was me on my own, then I would probably be eating that full bag of Frutella or that like full share bag of crisps or whatever. Whereas if it's you and me together, then we're splitting it half and half. So I'm like, actually, like,
and we're quite like, in terms of sharing food, we're quite even about it. It's not as if it's sat in the middle and we go at pace. Like I don't know whether you deliberately do it, but I know I do it. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, we have to take turns. So in my head, if I know I've just had one, I'm like, you're not due one until this has had one. So it's even. don't get me wrong, like if I'm hungry I'll have another one, but in my head I'm like, no, we have to take it turnabout because like we're sharing it
Mm-hmm.
and it's both our snacks. Whereas in eons gone by, like I used to have a reputation as someone that would literally gobble up everything. Like I could not share food with people because I would just mow it down. So I feel like I've matured in that sense.
Yeah, same. I think like even from the beginning of our relationship, like because I struggle sharing food with people. I'm used to like spending time with people who like when you offer them something they'll be like, no, it's okay, but you're like, yes please, and I'm like, okay, this has been an adjustment for me. Like I actually have to share my food now.
Don't ever offer me anything and expect me to say no. It's like, do you know when it's always like at Christmas time and things when like there's loads of people around a table, everyone's like, oh, does anyone want the last roast potato? And that signal, see if you're the one asking, does anyone want this? That person wants it.
Yeah.
They're just trying to be polite.
Yeah.
It always takes that one person to go, oh, actually I do.
Go
And then
on
you watch
then.
the other person's heartbreak as the fork gets rammed into it and it gets snatched away. Just
Like,
take,
don't ask the question if you don't want to know the answer.
just like,
Take it subtly.
what's it? Mark always says it's like shy kids get fuck all.
Shy wins, yeah, shy wins. Get
Equally, this person isn't shy because they've actively asked the group, do you want this food? And someone's taken it. Just take it.
But I think like for me, because I was always used to being like the vegan one in the relationship. So I was like, whatever I was eating, people were like, no, I don't want your smelly vegan food.
I love it. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll try it.
Like I'd rather eat my steak, I'd rather eat my chicken, like I'd rather eat my dairy chocolate, whereas you're like, go on then.
See, people ask me, but I got asked at work the other week as well. Had my Cocoa Pops and some whey as a little snack. Well, not whey. Not whey. I just call it whey.
Protein powder.
You know,
Just
the
call
strawberry.
it, just call
Just
it
call it
protein.
protein powder. Just call it.
Strawberry protein powder and Cocoa Pops.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I was in a rush.
That's disgusting.
As Whitney Houston would say, it's not right, but it was okay. So I'm gonna make it. It wasn't the best.
So anyway, I'm single now.
So anyway,
You were eating your Cocoa Pops.
yeah, I was eating my Cocoa Pops, and one of the managers came in, and they were like, "Be honest, Victoria. Like, how hard is it being vegan? Like, really?" They went, "Or really, like, you just
You can be honest with me.
like take it." I was like, "You can be honest,"
I won't tell Luce.
and I went, "Oh, it's actually like it's okay. Like,
It's okay.
It's
I can tolerate
like,
it.
solid 6 out of 10." But like, what I meant by that was like, I don't. In terms of taste and flavour and food enjoyment, there is no difference.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I've found remotely challenging about eating plant-based is watching you're getting macros in. So like protein content.
Yep.
But like people that argue for the sake of flavour and things like that, I'm like, I really like the plant-based, like, see the burgers we have.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mince.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like trying new things. Like, I like cooking with you. I don't feel like I eat anything or look at anything and go, like, this isn't fair, or, oh, woe is me, I'm
Yeah.
cutting out this. I'm like, it's actually, I think I've said it before, it's just about the flavour. Like, see if you put effort into your food. Like, lately at work, I've got a wee Instagram post due out about it lately at work, and the disgusting Cocoa Pops combo will illustrate this. And I spoke to Coach Dev about it and Katie of our kind of coaching group about it separately, about the like joy of food is gone when I'm at work. Case in point, strawberry flavoured protein powder and Cocoa Pops. It's not a combo that goes particularly well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't find like I've got an appetite through the week when I'm working. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I don't feel sick. Like, what is it? And the penny dropped the other day. I'm like, it's because I don't put effort into my meals when I'm alone. So like, if we're together, like, there'll be like a concerted effort to go, right, let's have something nice for lunch. Let's have something nice for dinner. Let's have something nice for breakfast. And we'll sit down and like, we are eating. Like, we don't normally eat and do other stuff. We normally eat. Whereas when I'm on my own, I'm probably standing up in the staff room, or it's been shoved in my gob as I run out the door. And like, I've lost count of the amount of days recently, whereas I've been at work, I've not opened my like lunch bag thinking, oh, this is like I'm excited to have this. I'm like, I better eat because I've got to train later, or I'm feeling a bit dizzy. And that's something that's completely out of character for me, because obviously, like before I mentioned earlier, like I used to be an absolute food monster.
I think, like, because we were talking about this, was it yesterday? Like, I feel like I'm the same at the moment. Like, but like my appetite's just gone recently. It's like I eat because I have to eat, not because I enjoy eating. But I don't think it's anything to do with like my actual diet, because like I've been doing this for years. But it's like, see, at the moment, I think like for me, it's like the executive functioning skills involved in like planning food and stuff, when life is already so overwhelming at the moment.
Yeah.
It just feels like another like tick box that I'm like, I end up just eating the same things on repeat, because I'm like, I can't be arsed to actually think up something
Like,
else.
nice.
So I'm just going to eat like an entire like 500ml pot of Alpro yogurt with some granola.
I think the nicest thing I normally make for myself is my yogurt and my granola in the morning. And normally, especially, it's a nightmare coming off a late shift, because by the time I get home, I'm sure a lot of clients will have this same issue. By the time you get home, you're so burst, you're like, I really can't be bothered. But I feel like I have it like but PT edition. So rather than reaching for crap, I will eat something nutritious, but like there's zero effort put into it. So it'll be like the protein source, but like barely seasoned, like maybe one vegetable if you're lucky. Or sometimes if I'm too tired, I'm like, do you know what? I'll just have it with rice or just pasta. Like, so barely seasoned, not a lot of nutrition, not a lot of effort into the appearance and how it looks. And I sat and was like reflecting on it yesterday, and in a lot of ways our industry like sucks the joy out of food, because it's all about box ticking.
Yep.
But people don't stop to think like, do I even like how this tastes? Like, or do I even enjoy eating this? Or does this even work for me? Because a lot of people get it with breakfast. My sister always, I don't know if you heard Lauren say it when we were away all together for her birthday, like Lauren doesn't eat breakfast. Or correction, Lauren does eat breakfast. Lauren has digestive biscuits or a Cinnabon. That's Lauren's favourite breakfast. So not particularly the most nutritionally complete breakfast, but Lauren's like, I hate breakfast food. So Lauren used to work in a hotel. That was Lauren's like first job for a good couple of years. Lauren's well used to the hotel industry, and Lauren cannot stand the sight or smell of a cooked breakfast, because she's like, I've just seen too much of them, and I've seen what happens to them after it and all the rest of it. And like, obviously in hotels, like they sit out for hours, so they have to deal with it all. And like, she's sick of it. And I remember saying to Lauren, I was like, have you ever thought, what's the phrase, think outside the cereal box? Just because it's breakfast time doesn't mean you have to eat breakfast food.
Yeah.
Like if you want something and you're hungry and you're up in the morning, see, as long as it sits well in your stomach. Like when I went to rugby on Tuesday, I'd had our crumpets for breakfast, so I had my yogurt later in the day, and I thought that might be nice before rugby. Wrong, because for what I remembered, I could just feel it curdling in my stomach when I was running about, and I'm like, I'm never having yogurt before rugby again. Look, it was just the worst.
I used to see when I was in off season before my bodybuilding prep, every morning I used to have a smoothie with like oats, fruit, protein powder, peanut butter. I think that was it. Banana maybe. That I used to I would be in my session training and I would literally feel so sick, and I'm like, why did I used to have such a heavy breakfast? Because I was like you, like there was a few times where I actually there was one time where I actually threw up, and it was the only time that had ever happened, and I left that session feeling so gross. Like I was training legs on a heavy stomach.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I'm never eating oats before I train ever again.
It's quite, I think one of the guys in the Raptors does that. Like he's renowned for eating a giant bowl of oats right before the game, and I'm like, you're going to get tackled and that's going to come right back up one way or down the other way. Like you can feel it in your stomach. I normally say, because quite a few of my clients that come in early in the morning, they all have the same issue. They're like, I hate breakfast, or it's too heavy if I'm training. I feel like if people want to swerve breakfast, that's only really good. I wouldn't even say good for performance. You can get away with it if it's just something like cardio you're doing. But see, if you're strength training, you need the fuel in because you'll fuck yourself up otherwise. And then people start to crop up the questions going, but it makes me feel sick though. And I would almost say, have something light.
See, even just like one thing that I sometimes suggest to clients is if you struggle to get a meal in, like before you go to train, like sip on cyclic dextrin during your workout. So it is literally just powdered carbs. Like you mix it in with, if you use like EAAs, mix it in with that, or mix it in with flavoured creatine, or mix it in with fucking diluting juice. And just drink that because it's fast digesting. It'll give you energy to keep you going throughout your session without training on a completely empty stomach. And it does actually like fill you up weirdly as well, because like I've like had times where I've like gone to train and I've been drinking cyclic dextrin and I come home and I'm like, I need to eat my post-workout and I don't have the appetite for it.
I'm full up from the meal I had in the middle of training.
All my calories now.
I've drank them all, it's fine. I feel like that is something though that like not a lot of people realise that like there's options, like you're saying, like intra-workout, as well as, especially if you're training for a prolonged period, like an hour plus, which I know for the most part, most people maybe don't like doing, like people like to be in and out in an hour, but see especially, so for example, rugby, on a game day, you'll arrive before the game. I say rugby, like I dare say football's the same, or like golf, tennis, you'll arrive before you're due to play and you warm up and train first. And then you're expected to play the game where the points count and all the rest of it. And if you're not eating, I remember in my first ever rugby game, I completely mistimed it. To be fair, I wasn't sure of the environment. I'd never met anyone before because we'd gone up to Bannockburn for a game. And I remember saying to the coach at the time, we'd done the warm up and I was like, right, I think I've got time. I'll nip. I had my rice cakes and all that. I had my like carbs all ready to go. And I was like, do I have time for something to eat? And she went, no. And I remember thinking, well, this isn't ideal. And I remember standing on the pitch thinking, I'm going to run out of energy at some point. And to be fair to them, they did bring on like a snack box at half time, but it was chock full of things like Haribos and chocolate rolls and things like that, which to a certain extent, yes, like fast acting energy, but it was the sheer amount of sugar in that box. I thought I'm going to crash. Yeah. And sure enough, maybe about halfway through the second half, I could feel my energy going off a cliff. And I'm like, oh no. Here comes the descent. And I'm like, I wish I just had like a banana or something, like without that sugar. And I don't know whether it was just the excitement and stuff as well, but for the rest of the day I had an absolutely banging headache to the point where I wasn't sure if I'd concussed myself. I don't think I had. I made a full recovery. I think I was also just really dehydrated as well. So lessons were learned in that first game about fueling properly, because I did suffer the consequences in the end. Like my head really hurt and I could feel the drop off. I could feel my legs getting heavier. And I'd like to point out that was my first ever game. Mistakes were made. We make these mistakes so you guys don't have to. Never again. We make sure we're hydrated. I think as well that's something a lot of people do miss. I don't think people realise how much being dehydrated impacts your energy levels as well as. Because a lot of people, you'll see people arrive at the gym with their full bottle of water, like topped up, ready for their session. And every time I see that, I wonder, have they been drinking in the run-up? Like, did they start drinking a couple of hours ago? So if they're in the morning, I was like, have they drank already, or are they about to take the lid off and that be the first thing they've had all day? Because if you start training and you're already dehydrated, you're on the back foot. Because you're only going to continue to lose fluid as the session goes on. So you're basically, you are putting in, which is like credit where credit's due, but you're already depleted on fluids, which like your brain literally floats in it. So as the session goes on, you're going to start to run out. And the other thing I think people forget about is what they do is they leave the gym or whatever, their water gets chucked in the back of the car and it's an afterthought for the rest of the day. Yeah. Probably because they're not too hot anymore and things like that, but you need to replace all that water you've lost. Otherwise you will feel it and you will feel a bit rubber ducked. Case in point, the absolute thumping headache I had after that one rugby game. I never made that mistake again. I was like tanning the water. I was like, I don't care if I'm bursting. I need to keep drinking. So that's my water rant.
Stay hydrated, folks.
Stay hydrated. Drink your water, especially now it's the summer months, it's warmer. So we'll all be losing fluids anyway.
I think we've definitely gone off topic today because today's podcast episode was supposed to be about...
So I suppose what we've done a very good job of has been procrastinating, because we got our first hater at the weekend. We say this however many minutes into the pod. And I think quite a lot of what we'd been reflecting on is that we're very lucky to be in the position we're in.
Mm-hmm.
We know that, and that's why we're sat in front of microphones, because we have the ability to speak up where other people don't. And I think the point that our, let's call them our new fan, made was that our experience of the world, for want of a better word, isn't valid because we may be sat in a studio, in an armchair, we look a certain way, we sound a certain way.
I think the exact words that they'd used were privileged white women trying to convince themselves that they're oppressed. And I think my first kind of thought there after I kind of sat like with the comment for a bit was, you've not even watched this episode.
Yeah, not watched it.
You've not watched it, because I think a lot of what we spoke about in that episode was about empowerment. It was about the actions that we've been taking to like speak up for other people within our community, not just within our direct community, but like people that are currently being oppressed while there's a fucking mass genocide going on.
Yeah.
And the actions that we are taking and the responsibility that we are taking there. And for example, it's by the time this episode is released, Glasgow Pride will have been and gone, but we are marching in the No Pride and Genocide block, and we will be attending they've got like an event going on afterwards. So we are not going to Glasgow Pride. I don't have any interest in the pink washing of Pride, which is meant to be a protest. So I think it's just things like that. I'd actually put out an Instagram post the other day talking about, I suppose, like different like cognitive distortions and how they can almost affect the way that your brain takes in messages like that. So I know that for myself, I can be quite sensitive to criticism, and there was like a little bit of kind of like negativity bias, like me kind of focusing on that one negative comment when we've had a lot of positivity from so many people since we started the podcast. And like Toria was saying, like we are so privileged to be in the position that we are in, where we can use our voices to kind of support and speak up for people whose voices are otherwise silenced, whether that is people within the LGBT community in Glasgow, whether that's people in the wider community, like in other countries in the world, whether it's like people that aren't even directly like a part of our community but are a part of other marginalised communities. Because yeah, like I think like another thing kind of came up for us that we were talking about is that like we ourselves, like because it took us so long, like we both came out a little bit later in life, like, or at least like fully came out a little bit later in life. We spent a lot of our lives kind of hiding in the shadows and not feeling safe or comfortable speaking about our own experiences. So we don't sit there and moan about the situations we're in or like the types of oppression that we face. Like, I feel as if our role is more about empowering people and helping people to feel seen and kind of feel like they're not fighting the good fight alone.
Like, under absolutely no circumstances are we assuming or asserting that anyone's experience is more valid than the other. Like, there'll be loads of people that maybe have a completely different lived experience to us. But equally, we're just people, man. Like, we're just people too, because the thing that really struck me about the comment on YouTube was they referred to us as women, and I'm like, you've instantly just misgendered my partner, which proves to me you've not listened to the podcast. I'm like, your experience is valid.
It's the kind of thing that I don't get myself like stressed out about though, and I think part of the reason for that is
my
that
hackles
like
were up.
I think part of the reason that like I don't let it stress me out is because like I see the way that that is kind of like a low hanging fruit for a lot of people to like when it comes to any sort of like bias against people in the LGBT community. It's always like, oh, like they're always taking the piss out of like non-binary people, trans people, and what's this made up thing, and you're mentally unwell and all this. But I'm like, for one, I'm not even gonna rise to that. But two, like for me, like it's honestly not that deep. Like it's really not that deep. Like that's how I choose to identify. No one else can tell me that my own lived experience isn't valid, because no one else knows how the inner workings of my brain work better than me. Like we are the experts in our own lives. So that's why I also don't dismiss anyone when they tell me their lived experience, because it's not my place to say, it's not my place to pass judgment there. And honestly, like if you're gonna intentionally go out of your way to kind of try and dismiss other people or invalidate other people's feelings, that says more about you than it does about them. So
it's like
go on, fucking
go on.
Refer to me as a woman. I don't care.
Go on.
I don't care.
We were looking this morning at, obviously after the football last night, the internet is awash with comments and videos, and we were in bed this morning and we looked at,
oh God,
I can't even remember the account. It was a sports account, and if you scroll down the comments, it's all, yeah, but this is women's sport and it's a bit rubbish, and like my like Sunday league team can do this better, or like the lads at school,
the under 10s,
the under 10s lads.
This is the worst penalty shout I've ever watched in my life, and
like this is why I don't watch women's football. I'm like, but you watched it though. Just saying. And it's that whole thing about their experience is just as valid as anyone else's. They're international athletes.
Yep.
But people have taken one look at it. See if that had been, I don't want to create an argument, but see if that had been a men's team and someone had missed a penalty, they would not have gone for it. Oh, it's because this men's football, they're just a joke. It would have been like, people would have looked at other factors.
Yeah.
But because it was the Lionesses, it's because they're women. Not the fact that they've been playing, they played the full game, they played extra time, like, it got heated, it was to and fro, like, you don't know, but people saw and people judged. And then obviously people on the internet like to get it, but it's the same as anything. It's like you're saying with like the kind of the issues that have been brought up after the Supreme Court ruling. People are going, oh, but trans must mean this, or like the colour of your skin must mean this. Like people are so quick to judge other people.
Yeah.
So quick to judge, and you're like, can we just, like, everyone's lived experience is valid.
Yeah.
Everyone's. Like, just don't hurt other people.
But I think if you start like pointing the finger at other communities and trying to bring people down without actually listening to them and what they have to say and kind of what their lived experience is, then as I say, like that says more about you as a person than it does them. Because at the end of the day, we're literally all just out here trying to live our best lives. Like to put it simply, like we're all just trying to stay safe and like make the most of our lives. And
what I quite love it is what has other people being themselves got to do with you?
Yeah.
Unless you're actively out to hurt other people or hurt yourself. Like, I really don't think people just being happy, like eating the foods they like, going to the places they like, wearing the clothes they like, what's it got to do with other folk? Very little.
I think it's funny as well because it's had me reflecting on almost like, I feel like I've kind of come up against like a little bit of shit when it comes to the way that I market like my coaching as well, because people who my content isn't aimed at seem to be getting offended by it or like making assumptions about it instead of maybe recognising that I'm not trying to speak to the same audience that they are. And I think that kind of like ties into it as well. It's like, see if the message is meant for you, then you'll get it. If you don't get it, then if it didn't land, then it's probably not for you. So move on. And
well, that's what I was thinking when you were showing me your Instagram yesterday. I'm like, why are people so quick, especially coach on coach, quick to jump down the throat, passive aggressively, of another coach?
Yep.
When they're like, see coaches that say this and say that. I'm like, that's great if you think that, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my clients, the people I'm helping, the people I'm looking to help. I'm not interested in you and your clientele. I'm interested in mine.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to have more than one approach to something,
Yeah.
but like tearing other people's perspective on it down, and like people are getting themselves in knots going, see all these coaches that are out there saying this and that, and I'm like, that's not how I would do it. That's not right. It's not, that's not hard work enough. Like, everybody's different, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, you concentrate on your clients, I'll concentrate on mine. I'm speaking the language my clients.
I'm speaking to an audience who have been burned by coaches that have this all or nothing mentality to fitness, and who tell people that they don't want it badly enough. Because if you have lived experience of trauma, of like gender identity stuff, of like sexuality, if you've never been represented in mainstream fitness and you've worked with coaches like that, then that's going to add to the shame that you're already experiencing. And I know that because that's my own lived experience, but it's also the lived experience of many of my clients.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
and my clients don't want to be bodybuilders, and at the moment I'm kind of moving away from bodybuilding myself and more towards general health and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
And that all or nothing mentality does not serve you in everyday life.
Like, it's quite full on as well. And I was like you were saying, you were talking about a client yesterday, and it's like you're saying, like, the all or nothing mentality would not have helped her.
Yeah.
Because she had life happening.
Yeah. Like, I've got clients at the minute who have very big life stuff going on, where literally them having to work extended hours and things like that have meant that they've had to prioritise that over training 3-4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because their entire career rests on it. So for me to turn around and tell someone, like, you don't want it badly enough, or like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going, right, okay, these are your current circumstances, this is the result you want long term, we can't maximise that right now because you have all these other things going on.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can just get through this next bit, then once you are in a better position, once you're in a more secure financial position, once you're in a position where you know that you've got this permanent role and you are able to take a little bit of a step back from work and you don't have to work fucking 60 hours a week, then we can start focusing on your goals a little bit more. But if the best support I can give you right now is let's scale things back and let's just focus on doing what you can and building that self-trust.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're in a position to push harder, we're going to push harder. Then that's the way we do things.
Mm-hmm. It's I love a gardening pun. Like, no one is in bloom all year.
Yep.
But that also can mean, like, you don't have to apportion your life in years either, or your training journey in years. Like, it's okay to have a season of your life or your training journey where things aren't great or other things are the priority. Like, it's okay. Whereas this grind set of being on it all the time, like, there's a reason, like, bodybuilders and athletes have an in-season and an off-season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to be, like, jammed in go mode all the time. It's exhausting.
I think, like, one of the biggest mistakes that I made prior to becoming a coach was I would judge other coaches whose Instagram pages weren't plastered in before and after photos, and I'd go, well, why is anyone going to trust a coach that, like, doesn't have those, like, transactional results to show?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why am I going to trust a coach that can't show people, like, the actual physical changes that their clients have? But see, now that I'm personally in a position myself where my goal isn't physique based, my goal is literally trying to rebuild structure after, while I'm in the middle of, like, trying to figure out health stuff,
Mm-hmm.
whilst I've got all these other life stresses going on around me, I'm not even sending my coach, like, I'm not sending my coach pictures of my physique right now, because that's not the goal. And I think some people get so caught up in, like, the bodybuilding mentality that they seem to forget that that's not the goal for everyone.
Yeah.
And especially not when you add in things like neurodivergence and, like, queerness and people. Another thing as well that I've been thinking about a lot, and this is something that, like, Mark and Jen speak a lot about as well. See, for people who, like us, who have been a part of, like, the health and fitness world for a number of years now, the gym is our comfort zone.
Yeah.
The gym is a place where we feel safe, we feel comfortable. arguably for myself, it's not really been over the last few months because I've been coming to terms with this new identity of mine. Like I've changed a lot about like my physical appearance. Like I've been more kind of out about my own lived experience, and I'm still trying to figure out a lot of that. And the gym has become a scary place for me again, because like I have noticed a shift in the way that people treat me differently now that I present a little bit differently. So the gym has like, I've had comments from people that I was like friendly and stuff with, like telling me that they don't like my short hair, and that made me feel really invalidated, because I was like, but this is like a part of who I am now, and it's something that makes me happy and it makes me feel confident. So even if it wasn't meant that way, someone making a comment like that, to me, it feels like they're rejecting this new version of me, but actually I'm growing into myself in so many ways. So it's little, like there's so much nuance to it. And I don't think people realise sometimes that like if you are kind of on the margins of society, like if you've grown up, another thing we've kind of spoken about before a little bit as well is like when you're queer and like you're in high school PE, for example, like the anxiety in the changing rooms, for example, of like that fear that like people know your little secret, or like people are going to clock that you're not straight, or like there's so much trauma there that I don't think people understand. And that creeps into the gym as well.
As an adult. Did I ever tell you about the changing room incident when I was in school?
Yeah, we spoke about it on one of our first episodes.
See, that for me as a teenager, like I wasn't out in high school. So the bullying at that time from those individuals would have been based purely on speculation. They didn't know, they just thought they knew.
Yeah.
Which, in an ironic way, is almost the same as that comment on Instagram. Like, they don't know, they just think they know, based on watching us for however many seconds in the studio. But for me at that point, the fact they just projected that onto me without knowing for sure, I did know for sure.
Yeah.
But what that did for me at that point was cement to me, this is not a safe place to be yourself. Now, I was really good at sports in high school. I liked PE. I say I liked PE. I liked partaking in sports. But at that tender young age, being treated like that in school, in PE, put me off joining a sports club as well, because I just assumed that same thing would translate, which is ironic.
And it's the exact same thing that happens for so many queer people when they join the gym, because even if they've maybe not faced that kind of discrimination in adulthood, that's their lived experience. That's the story that they've carried forward with them. Like that's how trauma works. Like it often shows up in ways that you don't expect it to, until maybe someone else kind of like reflects it back to you and is like, are you aware that this is how you act in this situation? Or are you aware that that fear or that belief has come from somewhere in your past?
Like I would say it reflects onto like, see if I'm doing like a changing room walk round at work, like it sounds really weird, I'll hold myself differently in the changing room. Like when I open the door, it's almost like shoulders back, head up. It's like, don't come near me.
Yeah.
I'm in here to do my checks and leave.
That I'm not in here to perv on you.
It's like I'm in here to check certain things about the room.
Yep.
Health and safety, make sure the place is clean, and then I'm here to get out. But the like vibe I give off is I'm not here to interact with you. Like when I come in, I will actively look through people in the changing room. There was a lassie in the other day, and I like charged round the changing room doing all the checks. I was like, tick, 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 sort this, sort that. And then as I was heading for the door, she almost like toddled after me. She was like, excuse me. And I'm like, it took me a minute to register she was talking to me. And then she turned around and she was like, do you have a plaster? I've cut my finger. And I'm like, but I hadn't, like in my head, I'm like, don't interact with anyone in here. Just get in, get out. I don't feel welcome.
So I think that's the other thing as well that like you need to take into account. Like, see, just coming back to what I was saying about how in the past I would maybe look at other coaches and like coaches' Instagram pages before I was qualified myself, and I go, well, there's no like before and afters here, so that obviously means that person is a shit coach, or like they're not actually, like they're they don't know how to coach their clients. But again, if you come back to like the niches that we work with, I think like in particular myself as well, again, like whether someone's neurodivergent, whether they have experienced trauma, trans, I work with a couple of trans people as well who they're not quite where they want to be in terms of like their body composition and stuff. So again, it's like, it's so personal. Like it's such a vulnerable thing in the first place. I've had a client say to me that like I am the first PT or the first coach they've had that they've actually felt comfortable sending me photos of them in their underwear because of essay, like because of stuff they've experienced in their past. And it's like, that's not something that I take lightly. Like, so it is wild how people will pass judgment on you and your skills based on the fact that you've maybe not got something to show in a transactional sense in the same way. When actually it's just because you respect your clients and you're not going to push them into like taking before and afters if that's not... I don't even like the phrase like before and afters because like there is like you're never the final product.
That implies like that after photo is like the finalised product.
Yeah.
When it's not. It also doesn't take into account, so I put something on my Instagram the other day about like values-based coaching.
Yep.
So, I mean, credit where credit's due. If someone's lost like a lot of weight or they've come back from a health condition or they've completely transformed their appearance, whichever way that could be, that's still a phenomenal effort.
Like, don't get me wrong, like there are clients of mine as well who fucking love posting their own progress photos. So I'm like, awesome, like...
But I used to love flexing for the camera.
It's something I ask in my my contracting as part of like the like client agreement is like my clients get to choose like are they happy for me to share their progress? Do they not want me to? Are they fine for me to do it but anonymously? And if it is going to be anything more transformational than transactional, so if that's talking about things that they struggled with, maybe it was like disordered eating habits, maybe it was like body like dysphoria, maybe it was like body dysmorphia, like all these different things, like maybe it was overcoming like self-limiting beliefs about something that's so deeply personal to them. I'll always get like confirmation from them that it's okay to share that part of their journey because it is so personal.
Like not everyone wants to be in their underwear for the world to see, because like you're saying, like some people have had like essay, for example, like they might not want that element of them shown online, but for me, the way I would deem success with my clients is like, does their training match up with their values?
Yep.
So I had the same, remember a couple of months ago, obviously when I had the crisis about, do I come back to rugby, do I not? And I sat and thought, I was like, why do I want to play rugby? And that's why I want to be part of a team. And I'm like, well, it makes sense to stay at rugby then, doesn't it? Little things like I want to be connected, I want to be fit, but I don't want to be constantly worrying about, oh, do I have abs? Or like, I just want, like, I want to know I'm fit, but there's other ways to measure that.
Yeah.
So like, how I feel when I'm at rugby training, how I feel when I'm in the gym, like it doesn't necessarily have to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, and it's okay if you have like a bad day in the gym or at training and things seem in your eyes to have gone back the way. Like, you're allowed to have different modes and you're allowed to want something that goes beyond just what you look like.
I think that's probably a big part of the reason why I don't, well, there's a number of reasons, but like it's probably a big part of the reason why I don't use like my like stage lean photos and stuff for marketing, apart from the fact that that's obviously not how anyone's physique looks like year round, but it's also like that doesn't align with my current values. Because like being stage lean isn't being healthy or being full of energy or looking after like your health and well-being, looking after your mental health, like that doesn't represent, like to me at this stage in time, reflecting back, that represents to me a version of myself where I was still trying to get other people's approval in some way, or like trying to prove something to myself that doesn't really link up with who I am at this point in time. And that's not to say that won't change again. Like that's the thing, like none of this, like it's also fluid. Nobody's identity is ever truly fixed. Like we all have our like core beliefs and values, but there's so much that can change over time as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my main kind of takeaway there.
Like, just do you, boo. I feel like that should be the tagline for the episode.
Do you, boo?
Do you, boo? Like, you're allowed to live in the world and change your mind and make mistakes and be happy with your body, be unhappy with your body. Like, the only person that gets to define your success is you as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Like we mentioned it in the podcast before, like all a coach is a roadmap.
Yep.
Your coach can't decide your goals for you.
Not everyone's got that same end destination.
Mm-hmm. Some people, it might take them 5 minutes to get there, and some people, they've got a long walk in front of them.
And that's okay. And that's why you shouldn't compare yourself to other people.
Like, I don't want to use the phrase stay in your lane, but like, your journey is just as valid, and it does not matter how slowly you go. Like, it doesn't matter. I think a big bugbear for me when I was recovering was, everyone's playing and having fun. And I'm like, why am I comparing myself to them?
Yeah.
They've not had this. And that's fine. Like, one day things will be different, and look, here they are.
Exactly. I feel like this has been the biggest tangent of an episode we've ever recorded.
Comment tangent if you've made it this far. An episode of tangents. Have you got anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's everything for today's tangent, to be honest with you.
Yep. So
we've already went off in about 50 different directions, but
this one is like a catch-all type episode. We covered everything. This is like everything you could possibly want from an episode is in here somewhere.
Comment tangent if you made it to the end.
Comment tangent. Comment Bean if you wish we'd done the full thing in the Lesley voice.
As always, if there is anything that you would like to hear us discuss in future episodes, if there was anything that we spoke about in today's episode that hit home, please feel free to leave us a comment. If you're watching us on YouTube, pop us a message on Instagram, give us a follow if you don't already.
Yes, please.
I am tailormadetraining.pt.
And I am VB the PT.
And we are your hosts.
Tune in next time for
another tangent.
Bye.